Hello, I'm Aaron Gemmel, and welcome back to the Hot Seat Sports Talk. It's been a while, but we are back. I have a great show with you today. We have viral sensation Annie Agar, who puts Big Ten and NFL teams in uncomfortable Zoom meetings. So it's going to be a great interview, great show today. So without further ado, let's get the opening credits started, and let's get this show up. Hello, you sports fans out there, and welcome to the Hot Seat Sports Talk Season 6, Episode 3. I am joined by viral sensation Annie Agar. Is that correct?
It's Agar, yep.
Agar, okay. Okay. So, Annie, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Really appreciate it.
Of course. I'm happy to be on.
All right. So, where did you grow up, and were you brought up in a sports family?
Good question. Yeah. So first of all, I was born on the east side of the state. My family moved over to the west side, so Grand Rapids area, just north of it in Rockford, when I was about 2 years old. So I say I'm from the west side. And yes, my family all grew up big sports fans. My dad played for the Tigers. He was in the minors for 4 years. So, and he played baseball at Grand Valley as well. So
Okay.
growing up, we would sit around the dinner table and we'd talk about what games were on that weekend or, what game was on that night. That's just what my family did. So I knew from a really young age, I loved sports and wanted to get into, some form of sports broadcasting, working in sports in some aspect. And then I played softball and basketball in high school, almost played at Grand Valley, but knew I wanted to get a job and kind of focus on the career side of things. So that's kind of how sports broadcasting came into play because like you said, I grew up a sports fan and wanted to continue that through my career. So
like you said, you played softball and basketball, right?
correct. Yep.
Any other sports that you tried or that didn't pan out? Like, were you looking to go to Grand Valley just a strict softball player, strict as a basketball player, or like what was your aspect on that?
Yeah, so softball was my main sport as a catcher. So I would have played softball in college. And I tried out a couple other sports. Obviously, the baseball side of things with my dad, I wanted to focus on,
Right.
softball. It's in the genes. But then, I tried a couple other ones. I tried soccer. It wasn't really my thing. Wasn't fast paced enough. I would have played football had I been able to and actually like wanted to, if it were a competitive league and there was a women's, football team, I would have played for sure. Because I played, so when I got to Grand Valley, I played a lot of IM leagues. And I was in flag football and ultimate frisbee. Yeah, a bunch of stuff, but flag football was so much fun. So yes, I would have played that in high school had that been a thing, but I think there's so many, intramural opportunities in college to kind of try out that was where I just did everything I could.
So just for fun, what position did you play in IM?
I was the quarterback because we figured out really quickly that, so, in intramurals, you have to, I was on a co-ed team, obviously. So you had to have, if the guy was a quarterback, he had to throw to a guy and then a girl each time.
Yep.
Our best wide receiver was a guy and he was like 6'7". So I would just sit at quarterback and lob these passes up and he'd catch them all day because I didn't have to throw to guy girl because I was the girl, so it just
you just have free reign to do whatever you want.
We cheated the system pretty hard on that one.
Yeah, because up here at Central, it's the exact same thing for IMs. I'm a receiver and a quarterback as well, and I punt as well because I used to punt and kick in high school. I did it for
that's awesome.
Geez, how many years did I do it? I did it for probably I played football for probably around 10 years.
Did you really? Okay.
So we wish that we could add an IM season this year because we had some unfinished business because we got knocked out first round last year. But yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear. Just such an easy target, right? 6'7", yeah. Just boom. It's like hitting Jimmy Graham all day.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. It was perfect.
So when did you first start broadcasting for like your local network in Grand Rapids?
Yeah, so I was a sophomore at Grand Valley, and I had gotten, I knew my boss currently, the sports director at WOODTV. I knew him a little bit. He was a kind of a family friend. So I said, hey, I'm looking for an internship. It wasn't even time yet I wasn't in my capstone. I didn't need an internship yet for my major, but I figured I'd get, ahead of the game a little bit. So sophomore year, I got an internship for 4 months. I was for the winter semester, I was interning at Wood, and then that summer they offered me the position I have now, and then worked there I've been there for over 4.5 years now. But it started sophomore year and as an internship and just kind of grew from there.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you go around, not only do you cover like professional sports, Detroit, all that stuff in Grand Rapids, but do you also go around and cover like the high schools and around that, high school football and all that stuff? Obviously, if they're playing, because it's been so sketchy this year.
Right. Yeah, we cover them pretty heavily because we pride ourselves on local content, being a local news station and everything. So high
Yep.
school football, it's like college football to us, or the pros even,
Yeah.
we'll cover it. We have a 20-minute show all about, high school football on Friday nights and everything. So it's a
Yeah.
busy time, but it's fun.
Yeah, so that's how the news network up here is at Central.
Okay.
It's all student run, obviously.
Uh-huh.
We broadcast. We cover as much high school as we can because we only have about 5 schools that are around here. It's just all rural around here. If you've ever been up here, so yeah. So when high schools are in, that's what we cover. But now since CMU football is back, and we'll get to that in a little bit, that's our main focus. That obviously professional sports as well. So now, Annie, you have become quite the sensation on TikTok over these past few months. They're very funny yet accurate. NFL and NCAA, if they put teams in a Zoom call. Tell me, how in the world did you come up with an idea like that? And did you ever think it would lead to this much success?
So that's a great question. I know I did not think it would blow up like this. I started doing the video back in when quarantine first kind of started and COVID was taking over the world. And we couldn't really do anything. I didn't have any sports to cover because there was nothing going on. So it was the most strange time of my career so far. And I remember it was around Mother's Day in May, and I'd gotten this idea because we were thinking about how football season would be impacted by COVID, if it would be over by then, if we'd even be having a football season, how we'd make that work. And so we were having Zoom calls like we are now all the time, at my work, my friends, like we were having Zoom calls for birthday parties. That's all everybody was doing. And so I thought of the Big Ten because I thought, well, they've all got to be having a Zoom call because they're trying to work everything out too. But how funny would that be? Because they all had this hostility towards each other. So I just kind of thought of the idea and I thought that would be an interesting thing to kind of capture. And I used TikTok. I just had gotten on TikTok. And I used that as kind of my source or my way of doing it because it was super easy to edit in the app, and I liked how it was kind of raw and it looked like you were taught, like it looked like a Zoom
Right.
call. So yes, I did that, and then I didn't even put it on Twitter. Someone had seen it on TikTok and reposted to her page on Twitter, and it absolutely, overnight I got tagged in things and it was blowing up, and then I was like, well, I got to share it now, so I shared it on my platform, and then it's just grown exponentially from there. I can't even believe it.
Yeah, because it's been, I don't even use the TikTok app. I saw it on an Instagram post that some sports, that one of my sporting channels that I follow, they posted your content. I'm like, wow,
Wow.
I laughed out loud because I'm like, this is so accurate. This is so accurate what Michigan State's probably thinking,
Oh, good.
because I grew up as a Spartan. I don't know if you're a
Okay,
full-time.
my family are all Spartan fans, so
Okay, so yeah, so and plus you were there when Rutgers
oh
beat
my
Michigan
God.
State this year.
Wow.
That was pretty interesting. Again, we'll get to that in a few, but it's just so amazing on how social media has just your idea was just so small, and look how big it's gotten to
Yeah.
this at this point, because you have done segments on podcasts, including being featured on ESPN this football season. Tell me, how did ESPN contact you appearing on Sunday NFL Countdown, and how much preparation did you prepare for that NFC least skit?
Yeah. So I had gotten a message on Twitter after I'd put out one of my NFL videos, and it was from someone, and she said she worked with ESPN talent. She produced, features for ESPN and getting the talent for shows and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, this seems kind of sketchy. I don't know how real it is. So I looked her up, and very real. And she gave me her number and said, give me a call. I want to talk to you about something. So I called her, and she said, hi, my name's this, and this is what we're looking for. And she kind of went through the, Sunday NFL Countdown. And she said, it's for a show. You may have heard of it. It's called Sunday NFL Countdown.
Right.
I laughed. I openly laughed, and I was like, yeah, I've heard of the show a couple times.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
A few times. So then she kind of gave me a rundown of what they were thinking. They wanted to do, kind of mimic what I was doing in my videos on a bigger level, and kind of make it seem a little bit more, professionally done and all that. And so I had recently got representation. So I had my agent. I called my agent. I said, this is what's happening. Like, should I do this, all that kind of thing? And she got in touch with them, and and then it just, from there, it took off. So that was on Tuesday. On Tuesday night, I'm sorry, I workshopped an idea, kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do it on, because they kind of they said, we want to do it on the NFC East, but you do what you want to do with it, kind of thing. So I workshopped an idea, came up with a script on Tuesday night. Wednesday, I did the video a bunch of times and we got it I worked with the producer of the show and kind of got it finalized and figured out what we wanted it to look like. And then Thursday, they flew a crew out, rented a house around here, and we shot all day from 10 a.m. to 8 o'clock at night, and filmed the whole thing. And then, it was ready by Sunday. They edited it that weekend, and then it was done by Sunday. So it was absolutely incredible.
Wow, that's incredible.
It was
just to be featured on ESPN Sunday NFL Countdown, because that show's been on the air for such a long time. And that skit was, again, very accurate. I did take, a little bit of offense to my formerly known Redskins. But I'm like, yeah, that kind of sums up Washington this year in a sense. Just really wish they could have beaten New York this past week so they can win half a game out. But
oh my gosh, yeah.
And still, that division's up for grabs.
Yeah, it's just saying a lot about it right there.
So now, with being recognized by ESPN, other networks, is leaving Grand Rapids for you like more of a bigger option now, and potentially working for ESPN or NFL Network?
When I first started in this career and everything, I knew I'd have to move away, because there's only 7 jobs locally in sports reporting, in local news, sports broadcasting. So I knew I'd at least have to go to Detroit or, one of the bigger cities. But this industry is very competitive, and it's very hard to break into. And so I knew I didn't really want to go the normal route of, going somewhere super small and trying to get a job there and then kind of building your way up. And so this has opened so many doors. I can't even tell you. Like, I got a message today from Matthew Berry, the
No way.
Yes, he messaged me and said,
he's awesome.
He is so, and I've watched him since he had his breakout in 2007 at ESPN. I've watched him since I was a teenager. And so I messaged him back, and I was like, do I call him Mr. Barry? Do I call him Matt? What do I,
Right.
It was wild. So but stuff like that is just, and there's so many connections, and this industry is all about connections. I mean, I cannot stress this enough. In sports, especially, people will, help you out exponentially if you relate to them, and if you're able to bring something to the sports industry. So the people I've connected with have all been super great and helpful. So I think that opportunity to move and hopefully move up is right there. And hopefully I can kind of work towards that a little bit easier now.
Yeah, because it's so funny you mentioned Matthew Berry. I met him not this past season, but the season before. He was in Detroit, in Allen Park for training camp.
Wow.
And I know I've had his name is Brad Galley. He's a reporter for
I know
for WXYZ, and it was so cool. He came, his entire family besides him went to my high school. So he came in, he sat down with me and my crew when we were seniors in high school. We did an interview with him. We did another one during COVID, and he was, he said, if I need help during training camp film, you can help me film. And Matthew Berry was there. And so I got to film and keep a copy of the interview that he did with Matthew Berry. I had to ask him a couple fantasy questions because it was August. We were getting close to drafts.
Oh, That's so cool.
And he actually saved my season. Because he told, and I asked him, I have a keeper, Le'Veon Bell or James Conner at the time.
Okay.
I'm like, who do I keep? He's like, if you keep Bell, try and trade him. I'm like, okay, I'll try and think about that. Come draft day, I found a trade. I traded Bell for I moved down in my draft, and I got Patrick Mahomes that year.
Wow.
Shocked the entire league, went to the Super Bowl and lost.
That's
But
amazing.
that's besides the point. So
That's just a minor detail.
So how much bigger can your uploads get from here? Like, do you have more ideas to comply with the pandemic that we're still going through? Like maybe do a MidAmerican conference call, that we're going through, or do you have like ideas or things that you're starting to plan already once football goes back to normal?
That's a good question. I when I first started doing these videos, I never wanted to push out content. I always wanted to do a video if I felt like a video was, needed to be done, and if there were jokes to be made, and then I felt like that was, a good avenue for
Yeah.
coming up with a new video. So it'll all just depend. I'm focused on football season now, and I love how it works because I have this gap in between each week, so people kind of are waiting for a video, and then it builds up anticipation. It's a lot more fun for me to do.
Like
I don't know how if I'll bring that into college football, or sorry, if I'll bring that into college basketball, or if I'll bring that into NBA. I don't know. We'll just kind of see
It'd
what
be a
happens.
different twist. But definitely, I
Yeah,
definitely want to see a MidAmerican call.
I was gonna say I might have to do the MAC.
Please, because you got 3 Michigan colleges in that call.
I know.
So
I know that was when I put you guys in one of my Zoom calls when I had all the conferences talking about who was quitting and who was coming back when the Big Ten was like, nope, we're not having a season. And everybody from that, the plethora of people from that wanted a MAC conference call is hilarious. I think it would be so fun.
Especially right now because week 2 just finished and we won last night by 30. We beat
I saw that 40-10,
huh? Yeah, that was a fantastic one. Yeah, because we're 2-0 and definitely I definitely want to see Central in that call, especially
when do you guys play Western? What week is that?
Next Wednesday we play them.
Oh, is it really?
Yes. In Mount Pleasant.
Interesting.
Yes.
I'm gonna be at that game. See if I can cover it. That'd be fun.
And then the next week we are at Eastern the following week.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting because especially on the way Western won against Toledo with that fake spike last night, I was not too thrilled about that. I was really hoping Toledo would have beat them.
That was wild. I know. I saw.
But yeah, definitely a MAC call is definitely something that Central students will relate to. Western, because I have friends at Western, Eastern, I have friends at Eastern as well. We could all relate to. Even people down in Toledo, Akron, Ohio, all those schools.
You might have to give me a little inside scoop of the stereotypes. Since you're in that territorial.
I could be the stereotype for Central if you want.
There you go.
So you also did. I've been trying to get a hold of him, but I know he's a very busy guy down in Orlando. You did a bit with Scooter Magruder. He's one of my favorites, especially when the Cowboys lose every week. I love to see him in agony, just so he understands the pain that us Lions fans go through.
Yeah.
So how did that one work? Did he contact you? Did you reach out to him and say, hey, I want to try this segment and let's just see how it goes? Because that one's probably my favorite one because
isn't it? Because he was in it too. Yeah. He how did that work? He had messaged me and said something about that he loved my video or something before the ESPN thing. We just had gone to talking and he was super helpful and said, hey, I know you're kind of breaking into this whole creator world, let me hook you up with people and get you in these forums and we can get you connected with people and everything like that. So we started kind of just connecting that way. And then he said, hey, we should do a collab. I think that would be really cool because when the ESPN video came out, some people had said, oh, you've taken Scooter's skit, because it was the Cowboys and the way that ESPN filmed it looked a lot more like his instead of just my Zoom calls.
Yeah.
So Scooter said, we should just come out with a video. It'll let everybody know we're on the same page here. We're not, nobody's trying to steal anybody's content or ideas or anything. So I came up with the idea for the video. Well, he came up with the idea to collab, and then I said, I'm going to send you a video of my ideas kind of, and you can work through what you think. And then, so I shot my video separate, and he shot his and then edited it together. And it looks,
That's awesome.
I was so happy with how it turned out, because we were, states apart trying to figure out how to talk to each other over Zoom. So
yeah, I mean, I understand, like, he roots, because I'm a Magic fan. I root because I get excited when he posts his Magic videos and stuff like that. But I'm like, Dallas, really? Cowboys? Why? You couldn't. I know Florida does. I know Orlando doesn't have a team. They used to have an AAF team, but you can't root for Tampa, Jacksonville, or Miami, really?
I think he told me he's originally, or his family's from Texas, and then he moved over to Florida. So I think that's where that
oh, really? Okay.
But yeah, isn't that funny?
No, you can root for the Texans.
I know, of all the teams.
The Cowboys, I hate them.
America's team, you had to.
I hate that. I hate that term.
Oh,
So Andy, real quick, this is a segment I've done with every guest that I've done Zoom calls with so far. It's called Rapid Fire 7, just 7 questions, not necessarily about sports, just to get to know you better. Okay. So besides the Lions, your favorite NFL team?
Packers.
Oh, boy.
Off to a great start, aren't we? No, my family are all Lions fans. I grew up a Packers fan. It's a long story, but yes, I'm not a bandwagon fan. I was pretty much born and raised a Packers fan.
Oh, God. At least you didn't say
I know.
At least you didn't say the Bears, though. That's all I'm going to say.
We can both agree on that.
Yeah. So your favorite food?
Ooh, that's a great one. That's a really hard question. I love steak. I really love steak. Like, a great steak is just, I'll probably
What type of steak?
I mean, I love filet, like a filet.
Yes.
They're really expensive. So, yeah. So
yeah, we have the same taste. Expensive steaks.
Yeah.
Favorite place to vacation in the summertime, either in Michigan or out of the state?
Disney World.
Yes.
I love Disney World. I have an obsession with Disney. It's really bad.
I've been, let's see, 1, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I've been there 7 times since I was 6.
Oh my gosh, I love it. What's your favorite park, real quick?
Oh, God.
I know.
Oh, God. I mean, because they keep adding so much new stuff now. It's Magic Kingdom has to be one of my favorites. Yeah. Hollywood is up there, though, because Star Wars Land, I haven't been to Star Wars Land yet. They were still completing it when last time I was there in June of 19. But Hollywood's definitely up there, because they have Star Wars mixed with everything else. Mm-hmm. Animal Kingdom's fun, too, especially going on the safari is fun. Expedition Everest is fun. Epcot is fun. I love going around the world eating.
And drinking.
Well, I can't drink yet. I have a year left.
You'll like Epcot a lot more when you can start.
I mean, because we love eating in Italy. We love eating in Canada. Italy has the best steaks. Italy has the best steaks in the world.
Do they really?
Best steaks in the world. Canada has great steaks too. You might not think it, but they do.
What's their? I can't think of the restaurant off the side there, but yeah, I've heard they have good steaks.
It's fantastic. So to get off at Disney, because we could probably do a whole show on
I know.
So your favorite sport to play, is it football, basketball? Like, what's your true, because you touched on it earlier, because you're softball, basketball, you played football in college.
I'd probably have to say football. I mean, it obviously is not real football, but flag football or throwing a football. Yeah, anything involving football.
Favorite movie of all time?
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is so tough. This is so hard. Okay. There's so many different genres. Okay. There's this one movie. It's really random. It's called Burnt with Bradley Cooper. It is my all-time favorite movie because I'm kind of a nerd about this. It's so aesthetically filmed. And this is because I've shot a lot of video before. Right. So the way that the movie is filmed is just perfect. The script is great. The storyline is great. The humor, there's romance, there's comedy. It's the whole package. So I highly recommend you go watch that movie. So, and it's about food. So it's just it's like a feel good movie. I just love it.
All right. I'll definitely put that on my list to watch over Christmas break, because we get out in a week. So
right.
Favorite music artist?
You are coming in with all the hard questions today. I thought I was decisive. Probably either Morgan Wallen or Chris Young.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to say probably currently Morgan Wallen.
And finally, out of this segment, favorite football player of all time.
Of all time? Ooh, it has to be a football player?
Yep.
Favorite of all time?
You're gonna say like Brett Favre or something like
I
that.
know I'm not. I wasn't the biggest Brett Favre fan, and I don't really love I love Aaron Rodgers, but not love him because of his personality. um, I kind of want to say Jordy Nelson.
Oh God.
Or Clay Matthews. I loved Clay
I
Matthews.
agree. Okay, Clay
If
Matthews
we're
is
going
great.
off of like personality though and family, I would say Matthew Stafford. I really like Stafford.
Stafford is he's a nice guy.
I root for
It
him
took
all
me
the
5
time.
years to meet him. It took me 5 years. When I was finally 18, I started going to training camps when I was 12, and it took me till I was 18 to meet him. Very
But
nice guy. I talked to him. And he was signing all my stuff that I wanted to get signed so bad. And this was after training camp and all that. He said, I am a memorabilia freak. Like I have game worn jerseys, autograph,
that's
like game used
incredible.
gloves, tape, towels, cleats from games, you name it. And
That's
so I asked Stafford after this practice, I saw his towel was still on his hip. And I'm like, so Mr. Stafford, what are you gonna do with that towel? He looks down at it, he goes, it's yours now. So he takes it off of his waist, and granted, this is after camp, so it's dripping with sweat.
Oh my God.
And he's like, you got a marker? He's like, yeah. Signs it all across the towel. I'm like, yes, perfect.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and fast forward to the last season that you could actually attend in person. I was at the practice at Ford Field where they do their scrimmage and stuff like that. And I had my senior pictures done at Ford Field on the field, stuff like that, and I was wearing a Lions blazer, Lions coat.
Okay.
And so my parents had that blown up into a canvas, and I took that to get it signed. And once practice was done, I was just holding it on the edge of the first row. I'm like, please, just Matthew, just come over and sign this.
Yeah.
And he was talking to his wife Kelly.
Yeah.
And he looked over, he looked at it, and he made a beeline just for my canvas. And the first thing he signed, I made the news. I made the news and everything.
That is so cool.
But my number one guy is Sam Martin, the punter who used to be in Detroit. I've known him since I was 13, and he was a rookie. Yeah, and we have become we're pretty good friends now. I have one of his practice jerseys hanging up in my room.
That is so.
Along with a Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and an Aaron Rodgers jersey.
I like
I have
it.
jerseys from every team.
Okay, that's fair.
From every team.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I have a few of those too.
So, speaking of these jerseys, I just saw in a recent post that you just got all types of NFL merchandise.
I did.
So how did that work? So did Fanatics or the NFL shop reach out to you, say, hey, just keep wearing our stuff? Because originally you got stuff from the Chiefs. Is that correct? You got stuff from Kansas City. So how did that just keep escalate? So now do you have every team now?
Pretty close. I have to look through actually how many I don't have. But yeah, I had the Chiefs reach out to me on Instagram and they had said, hey, send us your address. We're going to send you some gear. And I was super appreciative of that. I didn't expect that at all. And then a little bit later, the NFL shop reached out. It was actually NFL's TikTok. They messaged me and said, hey, we'd love to send you gear. Can you tell me what teams you're interested in? And I gave them a list of the teams that get, the most, that are asked for the most on my videos and the teams I tend to do a lot of. So the NFL shop sent me a lot of gear. They sent me Patriots, Bengals, Atlanta, Browns, Tampa Bay, and then I have to, when I do videos, I'm going to tag them in it, it's kind of a promotional thing for them as well. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I was going to say, not hearing that many winners in that group, but
yeah, well, I couldn't be too biased because I may or may not have a few Packers things already. I have Lions clothes for my brother. So yeah, I kind of went with the teams that I don't have anything with.
Yeah. Yeah, because in your original videos, like, did you like print out the team's logos and put them on your shirts to match
Yeah,
the colors?
I would
'Cause I
hot.
noticed that. I'm like the Washington, I refuse to call them the football team. So the Redskins logo, you have just the W on there. I'm like, that's not a shirt. That's actually printed out. I'm like, kudos to her for actually printing out every
Oh,
logo and putting them
thank
on.
you. Yeah. Yeah, I printed
So
them off and then would hot glue them on.
So now I want to talk, since you cover football all the time. It's your life and it's my life as well. I just want to just have an open talk about football, just in the NFL right now. So with your Packers right now, how are you feeling right now?
I feel better after last week. Aaron Rodgers had a really good game. I don't know
Tell me
what's
about
going on
it.
with NFC North. I'm very confused with them. I was not expecting the Vikings to beat the Lions. And
Ugh.
yeah. So I don't know. I feel like this year is just so different and so many things are up in the air. And
Yep.
I think it's just throwing everybody for a loop, and it's going to be a weird year because no matter who wins the Super Bowl, there's going to be a little asterisk by it saying, 2020.
COVID. Just
Yeah,
like the Lakers win the NBA championship, asterisk.
exactly.
Dodgers, asterisk.
Yep.
Lightning,
Yeah.
at Scooter for that one, for the
Too
Lightning.
bad the
Uh,
Rams or the Chargers aren't gonna bring home that LA three-peat.
don't count the Rams out yet. Just saying.
Okay, whatever you.
Um, I know all three of my favorite teams are basically out of it. Detroit's out of it, Denver's out of it, and Washington's out of it.
I feel like
But Washington's not done completely. I am still very worried about Alex Smith. Um, it's fantastic what he did, but
yeah,
he's the only quarterback that's active because Dwayne Haskins ain't active.
yep,
Kyle Allen, I don't know the injury. That was nasty last week.
yeah.
It looked like he got his ankle broke. His ankle broke.
Just cannot catch a break. No pun intended.
Yeah, so I am just concerned about what the Washington's going to do in the future for quarterbacks. Maybe they trade up, because I know they have like the third pick. Maybe draft Justin Fields out of Ohio State. That's another team that you cover a lot in your videos.
Yeah.
And yeah, Justin Fields would be great. I know the tank for Trevor's on.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is on right now. I don't know. Maybe
There's
Washington
no
could get him.
chance. What do you think about him saying that he's undecided about whether he stays at Clemson another year or not?
I really don't. It's just, it all depends on what Clemson does. I'd say if they win the national championship, he's gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
But still, is it really a national championship though? Like we just said, it's an asterisk.
Right. Right.
Like
I think he wants money.
the Big Ten, the Big Ten's 8 games. The MidAmerican is 6. We're almost next week. We're halfway through our season.
That's wild.
Granted, I would love it if we won a championship to get revenge that we lost last year. That was painful to watch in person against Miami of Ohio. But if we win a championship this year, we're still going to celebrate like Central students do. But still, I think Alex Smith at the end of the season he's got, you proved your point. You proved to yourself that you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
For now, it's time to call it quits after this year.
Yeah.
And then move on.
He's
because
got so much more to think
have
about.
a young star, Terry McLaurin. I love Antonio Gibson. He's on my fantasy team. I love him when he produces, not so much when he doesn't. I love Tennessee. Tennessee looks great in my opinion this year, especially Derrick Henry again on my fantasy team, because that's what I am on my up here at Central. I'm the fantasy football analyst on.
Are you really? So you're the CMU Matthew Berry?
Pretty much, yeah. Taking his advice and just spitting it back out. No, I come up with my own takes and stuff like that. I've appeared on all 5 shows that we've done this semester. It's been fun. But yeah, Derrick Henry, I love. I've had him for 3 years. Believe me, when that guy runs, especially when he had that 94-yard touchdown earlier in the year, the earth starts to shake a little bit wherever he's playing, because that's a big man just causing an earthquake in Tennessee.
He's a tank, and he's fast too. That's what's wild. It's just such.
He's always a slow starter. Derrick Henry is always a slow start. Like Dalvin Cook could have a first carry, go 75 yards and a touchdown. Aaron Jones can have 75 yards and a touchdown first carry. Henry, it takes him about 10 or 15 carries to actually get going. Like he'll get like 2, 4, 6 yards, and and they don't use him on passing downs. I don't understand that at all. They'll use their rookie. I'm like, you throw this, he had 2 receiving touchdowns last year, both 75-yard screen touchdown passes. But those were great for me last year as well. But it just confuses me. The one game I was really happy with when he had that 94-yarder and that game winner in overtime. I think who was that against? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I should remember.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Houston. It was Houston. That's right. It was Houston.
Okay,
They had a terrible run defense. That's why. So, asking you right now, who are your 2 teams right now that are playing in Super Bowl 55?
I hate this question.
It's November. We're getting close, and we're over halfway. So
it's true.
We're going into week.
I'm obligated to say the Chiefs, right?
Yes. Kansas City against Green Bay, perhaps.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but then that makes me sound extremely biased.
You could be, but believe me, I'm still hoping to be alive when the Lions win a Super Bowl.
Honestly, I mean,
it'd be a rematch, a Super Bowl 1. Yeah, Super Bowl 1 a rematch. That's a long time ago.
I remember the Packers' last Super Bowl, but it feels like it was so long ago.
That was 2010, right?
Yeah, it's wild. Mm-hmm.
And so it's just so funny. So I'm just thinking about who's a good contender in the NFC because it's open.
Yeah.
I'm going to the beginning of the season. Tampa.
No, and now they're just falling apart.
One of the coolest names I heard or Ghost creative was the Tampa Bay Gronkaneers when Gronk got signed.
Oh, that's funny. I've heard Tampa Bay, yeah.
Tampa Bay Gronkaneers. I don't know how Tampa's going to do now. Antonio Brown, granted, he is an alum here. Yeah. But he's just toxic.
Did he go back and take a class or something, like an online class recently?
Yeah. So the thing around campus last year here was we're like, oh my God, is Antonio Brown actually going to come here to campus? Is he going to sit with us? Is he going to sit with us in class? And everyone's like, no, he's just attending classes online. And everyone's like, you mean probably his assistant or whoever he hired is taking the classes for him online.
Exactly.
And
that's
once that news died, we never heard about him since.
Really?
Because he donated a few heated benches for our football program that had like Boomin 84 on them and stuff like that. And when the allegations and stuff came out when he was with Oakland, they removed all the benches that he donated.
Really?
They removed the benches. They have a kind of like they do at State in Michigan, like Spartans or Wolverines in the NFL.
Okay.
They have Chippewas in the NFL, and they would always have like Eric Fisher for the Chiefs, Joe Staley, who just retired for the Niners, and they would have Antonio Brown. But since those allegations came out, they stripped him.
Yeah, wow.
But probably our most successful alum right now is Sean Murphy Bunting for Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Corner.
That's cool.
And Eric Fisher, obviously, he has a touchdown catch this season, which all of us on campus were like, woo!
That is so cute. I love that.
And we were praying to God Dallas was going to start Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
I'm like, they still might because they're like on quarterback 5.
They're trying everything right now, so there's definitely a chance.
So now switching over to college, who do you like out of the Big Ten?
Like personally, like who's my team?
Not who's in the Big Ten championship game this season. Ohio State against.
And I'm probably going to say, how weird would it be if it was Indiana?
Yeah, I mean, that's in your latest post, in your latest AP poll. Yeah, Indiana. Wow, we can't believe we're here. Yeah, I can't believe Indiana's there.
I cannot believe it. I talked with a lot of Big Ten people before the season started, and we kind of thought that Indiana was going to have a good season, but I cannot believe the season they're having. Like, I just can't believe it. So I think that would be really cool. They'd get destroyed by Ohio State. Pretty much anybody who's going to play is going to get destroyed.
Well, because it's just been such a weird season just following because Rutgers goes into East Lansing, they beat Michigan State.
Yep.
Michigan State the next week goes into Ann Arbor, they beat Michigan.
Like they look a ton better.
And then next week, Michigan State goes on the road to Iowa, and they lose by 42.
Detroit. Yeah. It's unbelievable to me.
And then Michigan goes on the road to Indiana and gets obliterated.
Yep.
It's like, well,
It's
first of all, Michigan State's in the middle of their culture change. I've interviewed,
but then how does that? I mean, I get the whole like rivalry and that can spur you on, but how can you go from losing to Rutgers and their offense looked terrible? I mean, 7 turnovers, like the absolutely terrible. To go from that to being this great team, like their offense looked super fluid and they dominated Michigan. It's unreal to me.
Like, it was so funny because I, follow the Michigan State page and everything is because Rocky Lombardi, after the Michigan game, he won the Manning Passing Award. I'm like, okay, yeah, he had a great game. And then watching the Iowa game, I'm like, yep, that's Rocky Lombardi.
Not funny. Yeah, it is really strange.
Like 3 interceptions. It was a terrible game. But for the MAC, it's just, they shouldn't even play because 6 games is just a wash.
Yeah.
But we're just happy to have football back, even though that we can't go see it.
Right.
But it's definitely going to be interesting the next couple of weeks to see how we do against our other Michigan foes in the conference, especially Western, because Western to us, to State fans, is like Michigan in a sense. Not as big on a scale, or Ohio State, Michigan on a scale, but the hatred and the rivalry, it's there. It's 100% there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's because we went to Kalamazoo last year, we lost. But we still ended up winning the division. We went to the Big Ten not Big Ten, MidAmerican championship game, and lost. And then we lost in our bowl game, and Western won theirs. We definitely want revenge this year. Granted, we wish all of us could be in there in person, but it's just the hand everyone's been dealt.
It's still going on, which is good. But to have football is still, I'd rather have that than not have anything.
So you gave your Big Ten prediction. I'll give my Mid-American prediction because I'm in the conference.
Perfect.
Not being biased because I'm a student, but just because of how I've watched our offense work, our offense work and our defense work on the field. I like Central out of the West.
Okay.
In the division. And I wouldn't be surprised if Miami, Ohio, or Buffalo comes out of the East.
Really?
Buffalo is a team. It's like Michigan State fans, like, you hate Ohio State, but you hate Michigan more.
Yeah.
For us, we hate Western, but we hate Buffalo and Eastern.
Yeah, that's funny.
And basketball, it's a different rivalry because
that's very interesting. Oh yeah,
it's just very, very interesting. So I definitely have Central. Going against, it's just either Miami of Ohio or Buffalo, because Buffalo always has a good team every single year. Mm-hmm. It's annoying. It's annoying. Just like Ohio State's always good. That's annoying. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I'm just trying to think here. I wanted to ask you this question. Do you play fantasy football at all?
I didn't this year, but I have every other year before. But this year I didn't just because of everything.
Everything happening, right? No, that's
a few things going on. So.
Yeah, that's completely, So how good of a fantasy player are you? Like, do you over prepare? Do you just go into the draft let's just see what happens?
No, I feel like I prepare. I do a couple mock drafts. My theory or my strategy is to draft a quarterback early, which people don't agree with.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I like it a lot. I'll get my running back or wide receiver, whoever will get me the more points, or whatever pick I have, whoever falls to me. And then I'll get a quarterback, and depends on the depth level of quarterbacks. This year I may have not have gone super early.
Yeah.
But I love drafting like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, because even if I sit one on my bench, or if I have if it's a 3 quarterback league or something, and I have, I can sit 2 quarterbacks on my bench, that's a lot of points taken away from everybody else. So I like to do that a lot. It's very mean.
I can kind of agree with that, because I just traded away one of my quarterbacks in my league. I had Josh Allen, Herbert, and Tannehill. I got hit by an Aaron Rodgers buzzsaw last week. and a Christian McCaffrey saw as well.
Yeah.
So that's how I lost. And I just traded away Herbert. I'm like, I don't need him. I'll get value for the playoffs. I have Josh Allen. He's been playing fantastic. But no, my philosophy when I go to my drafts are quarterbacks are a dime a dozen. Receivers are super deep.
Yeah.
Running backs, you have
Running
to
backs always
target
go through
because there's only about, I'd say maybe 8 or 9 top tier
Mhm.
ones like Henry, McCaffrey, Cook, those guys. Receivers, you can get like an Edelman, a DJ Shark, whoever,
Mhm.
in the mid rounds of your draft.
Mhm.
Um, quarterbacks. I didn't get Josh Allen. He fell to me. He fell to me in probably the 8th round out of 16,
Okay.
which is fan. Which I'm like, yes, please give me Josh Allen. That's
Yeah.
who I wanted going in.
Yeah.
Because we have a keeper league and it's a two. We have our league is really wacky this year. Because we have 2 flex spots, it's a full point PPR, just a lot of scoring. So it's definitely a lot of fun. So I could assume you're probably going to play next season, right?
I would assume so, yes.
Oh yeah. And now when you play, do you play for free? Or do you play for some money?
It's been up and down in the past. It just depends on the leagues my friends are in. I've never been in a
Yeah.
keeper league.
Keeper leagues definitely throw different takes on it. Let me
Oh
tell
yeah.
you.
Yeah, that's a whole other kind of level of dedication. So, but yeah, we usually do we'll do, buy-in leagues a couple times. Some are just free, but it's a little more fun when there's money involved. So
Yeah, especially with because my league's in its 8th year. We started when I was 13 for free. We started with 8 teams to 12. Then
wow.
at 12, we had to cut down to 10 due to like COVID and all that stuff for
Yep.
this year. But no, everyone, the older we get, the higher the stakes go up
Yep.
with the money.
Exactly. I love it.
And we just got a huge trophy for our league, which
I
is
love it.
it's not like the Lombardi trophy. It's shaped more like the Stanley Cup in a sense.
Okay.
And so I like, when I present it, because I am the commissioner,
Okay.
um, hopefully I can have, because my father, he's in my league. He's the co-commissioner. He can present it to me when I win the whole thing. So just place the $200 that the winner gets inside the cup, and you get the trophy. And we have engraved names for each champion in the past.
I love that. I love that. That's amazing.
Because my league is based off the league that my father has with his friends that's been going on for 20 years. I want to have that. So
yeah, I love that. That's a great idea. Good legacy to keep.
But that's all I have for you, Andy. Thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate your time. Please keep me in mind for your MAC call. I would definitely love to be on it. Just to get myself out there and just represent Central in a student type of way, like that. So just keep up the great videos. I look forward to them every time you post.
Thank you.
And just good luck with everything else. And hope that maybe once the Super Bowl's done, maybe the playoffs, you can come back and we could talk like post Super Bowl and of the upcoming 2021 draft.
I love it. Absolutely. I would love to.
So
thank you much for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. And keep in contact if you come to Mount Pleasant this next week.
Yeah, I might be I don't know who we have covering that game yet, but if it is me, I'll let you know for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. So but thank you so much, Annie.
Of course. Thank you very much.
Annie is on Instagram at AnnieAgar5. She's also on TikTok, probably the same username, right? AnnieAgar5 as well. She's also on Twitter and keep up with all of her posts as well as ours. So thank you, Annie, for joining us. Please keep in contact and hope you can come back soon.
Absolutely. I love it.
Thanks
so much. Of course. We'll talk later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Man, what a great interview, right? Just hearing about how just a small idea in quarantine, kind of like our show when we got rebooted a little bit with our guests, she just had a little different path than us. Um, we interviewed former players and stuff like that during the quarantine. She came up with her own ideas for Zoom and all that stuff. So, and look where it's gotten her, ESPN, all these different networks as well. So, and plus got a little football talk because it's been a long time since the show talked about football in a sense that's actually going on. So that will do it for this week. Please join us next week. Yes, next week, because in the past I said, join us next time whenever we come on, but join us next week as as former MSU running back and NFL running back Edwin Baker joins the show. It's going to be a fantastic interview. Cannot wait for it. Make sure you tune in for this one. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram and on Twitter as well as Facebook. And make sure you go follow Annie on all of her social media accounts to keep updated on her posts. I certainly am, especially waiting for that MidAmerican conference call. So, and that will do it for this week. And we will be back next week with Edward Baker. And as always, keep it fresh.